Hey, everybody. They're manipulating our food, and it's starting to catch up to some people. I'm noticing more and more people saying they can't eat this or they can't eat that. Well, back when the woohoo bat flu got here, the FDA made a ruling that, I'm going to read it to you. The Food and Drug Administration is temporarily allowing manufacturers of packaged foods to substitute ingredients without changing the labels. Meaning, you might not know exactly what's in the product. This could spell big trouble if you're allergic. And my wife, Stacey, is allergic to several things. The autoimmune lupus that you were diagnosed with about 7 years ago or so.
Yeah.
She was able to completely reverse it by getting off these toxic
Processed foods and stuff. Yeah.
that include high fructose corn syrup.
Yep.
And, we had to kind of weed that out. And now they're changing the ingredients on foods that we have been eating.
Right.
And you don't know unless you look. So I want you to just keep that in mind when you're at the grocery store paying those high dollar grocery bills.
Well, every time I buy groceries, every single thing I purchase, especially if it's something new that I've not eaten before, I literally have to read the label. So I probably look like a crazy person sitting there scanning the label, reading it, looking at it, trying to figure out what's in it, because I know there's certain things that I can't process and it will make me sick. But now, unfortunately, I can't trust what's in the label based on what they're saying. So I'm kind of having to do trial and error. And unfortunately, I just figured out that, what did you tell me? Just Ritz
Crackers has high fructose corn syrup. When I mentioned it, she said
Yep.
she could tell the difference
Yep.
in how she felt when she ate it. Because when you're sick with that stuff, it's life-changing. You think you're just dying.
Well, it just makes your body simmer. It makes you feel like you have a slight case of the flu, unless you really go full blown. And it makes you sick. And I can tell now if you just eat one or two crackers. Used to I could eat one or two and I'd be fine, but now unfortunately it doesn't work that way. So I've had to cut another thing out of my diet that I used to enjoy.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that aggravate her are seed oils.
Yes.
Safflower oil, sunflower oil. And I've actually got some activated charcoal that she's going to put in her purse.
Yes.
And we carry some in the camper, and we carry it everywhere. If you do get a hold of something that you can't process and you have that simmering bad feeling, you can take that, and it won't have to work its way all the way through your system. It'll kind of it'll stick to that charcoal and get it out.
No, that's a really good tip. But let's go back to the prices a little bit. Why they're changing the ingredients in these foods because of prices. So I ran into a guy, so I went to a wedding this past weekend, and Barbara, who is a friend of mine, known for years, her husband John, he does corn and soy, and he was talking about the process and how it's affecting them, the prices, and how they're no longer going to be able to get good seeds, and so they're running out of money, and there's no food for cattle, and so they're having to implement different foods to supplement. Because he even asked me, because we get a calf and a half, he said, how does your calf and a half get fed then? Because they're having to implement different foods to supplement this. So everything is changing in our food supply because of what's going on right now in the world with, the drought, everything.
Right, and this is something that takes a while to catch up. You can eat something your body can't really handle for a while, for years actually.
Right.
You ate stuff that you can't eat
Chick-fil-A.
now. Yeah, Chick-fil-A, Tony Chachere's almonds and stuff baked in safflower oil, that kind of stuff. She ate it forever, and then all of a sudden one day, I'm sick and I don't know what's wrong.
Right.
And a year later of feeling like this, thinking my wife's going to just die, we figured it out, thank God. But when they change the ingredients and they don't tell you, you could be victim eating the same stuff and not know it. You can be eating one thing that's in one product that you're eating, and it could be causing some issues. And I would say it took about 3 years once whatever that is breaks. I don't know if it's your gut starts leaking into your system or what,
Yeah.
but after it gets so bad, and then it's like, okay, I got to do something. I just kind of wanted to tell everybody that.
So it starts, I think, in your digestive system. I think it's where it starts, and that's where it started with me. And then it goes to your intestines. And so you start all of a sudden have reflux, or you can't keep anything in or out. and you start having issues in that, and that's when you know there's something you're eating that's causing issues. And matter of fact, there was a lady that we watched on a YouTube video just today that whatever Taco Bell now is doing, she used to could eat Taco Bell, and she cannot eat it anymore. So there's so many.
It was the refried beans. They switched the oils on her, and she can't have. And just so you know, most of the oil you're buying on off the shelf, brand new, is already rancid.
It is.
We had to figure that out the hard way.
It is.
So I felt like, I don't really want to talk a lot of diet and stuff, but I felt obligated to bring this up that if one person felt bad and we helped them, that would be great. So I plan on doing a video with the new farmer that I met through you.
Oh, yeah. So he's John. Yeah. He does soybeans and corn, and he was very interesting about what he's learning, what the prices are, what's coming up down the road. He said there is definitely going to be people hungry. There's definitely going to be shortages, and he said people aren't seeing it. He said right now there's a glut of it. He said because it looks like there's so much of it that the prices are going down. He said, but unfortunately in a year we're not going to be able to get seeds, and he said there's not going to be any soybeans, corn, wheat, beef. And it was pretty. It was at a wedding, actually.
Yeah, farmers know.
They know.
They're on the front lines, and people aren't really catching up yet. And for everybody that wanted Terrell's email, I think I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it to voice. I have a hard time putting an email on YouTube in the comments or anything. We've tried several different ways. I'm going to just put his whole email to speak, text to speech.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
And I'll include the graphs and everything along with it. So I'll just put on there corn grain email video or something. So that'll help you kind of keep our thumb on the pulse of
what's going on,
the grain shortages as they come, because they're coming, guys. They're not. This isn't. And I've been wrong on a few things. One of them was coffee. I remember.
No, coffee did go for a shortage for a while.
It did.
It did.
But the wrong advice was to buy surplus that you couldn't drink in the right amount of time.
True.
We figured that out the hard way as well. After coffee sits so long
it goes
in
rancid.
the bag, it goes rancid. It has oils in it. You learn a lot when when your best favorite person has lupus, So
when I got issues.
So it all has to be fresh, and we had to figure out that the hard way. And you might be dealing with that too, drinking some really old coffee that the oils have gone rancid in. So
well, my dad did too. So my dad kept saying I cannot drink coffee. I was like, because I think I got this from my dad, because autoimmune, just so you know, is hereditary. You can't get it. You can't catch it. You either got it or you don't got it. It's a gene related. And I'm pretty sure I got it from my dad. And he kept saying, I cannot drink coffee. It's making me so sick. I said, Dad, you're probably because you're drinking rancid coffee. And so that's just kind of how we figured that out.
Yeah, we switched our coffee to fresh roasted, and we grind it ourselves right before we use it. And that
game changer.
She has no trouble now. So we can enjoy a cup of coffee on the morning.
I know, we can, yeah.
All right, guys, have an awesome, awesome day. And give Stacey a like while you're here. Thanks for coming on. Later.